very excited to introduce the Young Professionals Network to discuss their progress in developing a professional forum for young finance practitioners in our sector. MFOA is so pleased to see how this group has been advancing this past year. I'd like to introduce this interim steering committee that has been working very hard with MFOA to establish a development program these past months. They'll be telling you more about the program and introducing the first ever steering committee going forward. So our interim committee, Kathy Diezik, David Stewart, Paul Kramer, and Olga Oljanskaya. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys.
Thank you, Donna. I forgot the clicker. So as Donna mentioned, the interim steering committee, we have been working hard since about last November, December on this initiative. And we're proud to launch it today and introduce the new incoming steering committee members. So on that note, I'm going to move forward. So MFOA is proud to announce the development of a new Young Professionals Network, YPN at MFOA. So there's been frequent discussion around the intergenerational issues and succession planning in Ontario's municipal finance sector, but as of yet there hasn't been a targeted effort to provide support services for the 35 and under demographic, as there is increasing demand to have a network to service this gap. So YPN at MFOA has been created to provide services to young professionals by young professionals in order to provide support to the 35 and under demographic. The intent of the network is to accommodate the unique needs of young professionals in Ontario's municipal finance sector. So the interim committee, steering committee members, as Donna mentioned, are Kathy, myself, Jennifer, who's not here, she's from the city of Hamilton, Paul, Yana, Emily Harris from MFOA, and Kim Varian from MFOA. So we've all, as a group, been collaboratively meeting and having discussions about moving this network forward. So a little bit about the network. The purpose is to provide targeted services in support of young people's professional development within the sector. The specific mission of YPN at MFOA is to connect and enhance the relationships between young professionals in the Ontario municipal finance sector through collaborating network events and educational opportunities. The vision is to saturate the public sector with young, innovative professionals who will become the leaders of tomorrow. And on that note, I'm going to pass it along to Kathy, who's going to detail about the potential network services.
Thank you, Dave. So some of the potential network services that we would like our network to provide are local networking events, which will be facilitated by our 5 regional representatives, who will be introduced to you in just a short little while. A Toastmasters series to improve public speaking skills, as well as career advancement tips specific to the municipal finance sector. An informal mentorship program, focus groups, as well as established professionals presentations from CAOs, CFOs, deputy treasurers, and directors. Now, supervisors, we encourage you to please allow your young professionals to take advantage of our network and allow them to be part of this initiative. The benefits of networking allow for mutual gain, not only for young professionals, but also for you. The network allows for information sharing, as well as comparing municipal approaches on different issues. Our network requires minimal time commitment, and of course, it's free to all MFOA members. So please, allow your young professionals to showcase their skills, help others, as well as get support and much, much more. So for those of you who are interested in more information with regards to our network, we encourage you to please visit our website at www.ypn-mfoa.ca. Also, if you have any questions or concerns, you can email us at ypn@mfoa.on.ca. We also have a LinkedIn group where you can find information on resume writing, as well as presentation pointers, material related to professional development, and succession planning. Help us grow. Let people know that excuse me, we're developing a network for the 35 and under demographic. Tell them how to get involved. We really need your support. So thank you very much, and Yana will now introduce the election results.
So before I announce the election results, I just want to give a little bit of background what the steering committee will consist of and what their expected roles and responsibilities will be. So the steering committee, the YPN steering committee will consist of a chair, vice chair, treasurer, communications and outreach coordinator, and events coordinator. And those 5 people will be supported by the regional representatives who will represent each of the regions defined by the Municipal Services Office boundaries. So that would be Northwest, Northeast, East, West, and Central. The expected membership time commitment would be at least 3 hours per month. The YPN committee will be contacting over the conference calls, and there will be some meetings and correspondence over emails as required. The term of the committee will be 1 year, and for the next year there will be another election. This year, each of the applicants was asked to fill out the standard set of questions, and then the Electoral College made the decision on who will fill which positions. The Electoral College consisted of us, interim steering committee. There were MFOA members, staff, and there were representatives from municipalities across Ontario regions. So moving on to the steering committee roles and responsibilities, the expected roles of the chair will be to lead the steering committee and act as a spokesperson. This would also involve appearing at MFOA board meetings in an advisory capacity and report on network success in meeting its objectives. He will also survey membership regarding YPN services, participation, and general satisfaction, and then update MFOA and YPN membership on upcoming events, activities, key decisions, and volunteer opportunities. The chair will also be responsible for establishing long-term and short-term goals for YPN and building consensus within the steering committee for those goals. In the absence of the chair, the vice chair will be responsible for ensuring the progress of the initiatives. The vice chair will take the information management role, and that would involve centralizing all work in the group Dropbox account, managing YPN emails, and acting as a secretary during the meetings. The vice chair will also play a project management role in various activities, and an example of it being the informal mentorship program, where the vice chair will track the program improvements and come up with some suggestions on that. And the vice chair will support the YPN's nomination and election process. As for the treasurer's responsibilities, the treasurer will develop an annual business case and budget for YPN and account for network's expenses and collect receipts. In addition, the treasurer will track performance indicators of network success. As for the communications and outreach coordinator and the events coordinator, they will be working closely with the regional representatives, and the communications and outreach coordinator will be responsible for general recruitment. He will pull the ideas for how to connect with different segments of the market and develop targets and strategies to increase the YPN membership over time. The communications and outreach coordinator will also put promotional materials for network events and develop a student attraction and retention initiative. The events coordinator will be responsible for coordinating training, social, and Toastmaster events with the help of the regional representatives. And he will also be managing the YPN web presence, being the LinkedIn group and the YPN website, which was created recently. So on this note, I want to announce the new YPN steering committee members. So the chair is Julie Mapham, and if you can please stand up so people know your faces. The vice chair is Chen Dong from the Niagara region. The treasurer is Lucia Chen from Niagara region. The events coordinator is Josh Clark from City of London. He was not able to attend today. The communications and outreach coordinator is Wade Washington from City of Ottawa. And at the end of our presentation, we'll have Julie, Chen, and Wade say a couple of words about themselves, as they were lucky to be members of YPN Steering Committee. So as I said earlier, the 5 steering committee members will be supported by the regional representatives, and those regional representatives will assist them with local knowledge and insight in terms of membership development, increasing participation rates, and events planning. They will track participation rates and represent the steering committee at local events, and working with the steering committee, they will ensure a network is advertised and running smoothly in their region. So on this note, I want to announce the regional representatives that were elected by the Electoral College. So the West will be represented by Heather Bailey from County of Brant. East will be represented by Sarah Huskinson from City of Kingston, and Ashley Addisford from City of Ottawa. Sarah was not able to attend today. Central region will be represented by Michael Gariepe from York region. And Northwest will be represented by Carly Jeremy from Thunder Bay. At this point, we didn't get a representative for Northeast, but we're still working on it. If we're not going to get a representative for this year, we're thinking it's not a big problem, because the YPN committee is new, and this is the first year of the X committee, so hopefully we'll get somebody next year if we're not going to get somebody this year. And now I'm going to pass it on to Paul, and he'll talk about the mentorship program.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming out today. We didn't really know what to expect for attendance, but thank you for coming. So I'm just going to touch on one of the services we're going to be providing, which is going to be a mentorship program. Now, I gave a presentation yesterday to the finance managers at the City of London, and I got some comments about confusion between this and the internship program. So I want to make the distinction that they are 2 very different things. This is something that's going to be extracurricular, and you will do on your own time, and it's more informal. So the purpose of this is to assist in the knowledge transfer between experienced or retired. So I want to point that out. If someone is retired and wants to stay within the industry, they are more than welcome to apply and be a part of this. So municipal finance employees, to those who are under 35 and wish to build or advance their career within the municipal finance sector. The second part of this is not just to have that knowledge transfer, but also for the senior employees to be challenged by the mentees and by the younger generation. So the last one is to support YPN at MFOA's mandate to create the leaders of tomorrow. This is just supporting our mission. There's a lot of benefits to something like this, and some things that you might not think of. In the benefits for the mentor, you're going to develop some leadership skills. I know me personally, I haven't had the opportunity to be a manager of anyone, and maybe some of you also have not had that opportunity or would like to further develop your leadership and your coaching skills, and this is a great way to do it. It's also for satisfaction of knowing that you're giving and sharing that knowledge to the younger generation. It's something that needs to happen. In our opening remarks this morning, it's something like 50% of the senior leadership is going to be retiring in the next 10 years. So that's a big number, and we're going to have to work on that transition. And then also just the exposure to this emerging talent pool. You never know what you're going to get when you hire someone, so if you're being exposed and have the opportunity to meet a lot of new young professionals, I think it's a great opportunity for yourself. Benefits for the mentee, you're going to be connected to someone who's very experienced in the industry, and not very many people have that opportunity, so if you do have that opportunity, I think you should very much take advantage of it, because it's going to enhance your professional skills, your networking skills, and then build the foundation of a lasting professional network. Now, the program, like I said, is very, it's not formal in the sense that there's going to be certain expectations that you have to do this every week or every monthly. The expectations are really going to be built by the mentor and the mentee. So our role, or I should say their role, because we're handing it off to them, is going to be more of just a matchmaker role. So we're going to promote it and accept applications and then match people based on location, based on interests, etc. We're going to have a hands-off approach. You're going to come up with a kind of contract of sorts, just an informal contract stating each other's expectations and set an action plan of how you're going to achieve those. We're going to do that right at the beginning, and then you can always reference back to that to make sure goals were met. And then, of course, we're going to monitor it a little. We'll do a mid-year survey just to check in, see how things are going, and then at the end of the year, we will do it. And that's for our own reference to make sure that if we can improve it and do anything better, we will. The expectations. The number one thing is going to be commitment. Something like this during budget time or end of year, it's going to be the first thing that falls off your priority list. And I know that from experience already. You get bogged down in your work, and something like this is going to be very easy to ignore and say you don't have time to do. So it's not going to be overly demanding. You know, the expectations might be an hour, 2 hours a month, whatever you set out. And it'll be worth your while to stay with it. This is kind of the tentative schedule, I'll say at this point, because it might change once I hand it over. However, we're aiming for an October 1st application deadline and expect to see some bulletins, emails coming out from MFOA with updates on this, and you can also check our website. And then we're going to hold an orientation early to mid-October going over what should be included in the contract, some of the ways to get the most out of this orientation. And that's to be determined the exact date, and we'll announce that soon. We do have applications, one for the mentor and one for the mentee on our website, so please check that out. I think it'll be one of the really positive things that come out of this network. So I hope if you have any questions, you email myself or YPN through the YPN email, and then someone will get back to you for sure. So I believe we're going to have a few comments from the new committee. So we'll start with Julie, the new chair.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Julie Mepham, the new chair for the YPN at MFOA, and I am a financial analyst at the town of Whitby. And I just wanted to come up here today just to give you a little bit more information as to what my vision is for the network. But first of all, I'd like to congratulate all the new members of the steering committee and the regional representatives on their election. I have had the opportunity to meet some of you at lunch and have some conversations with you, and I really believe that we have a strong and dynamic group of individuals, and we're going to accomplish a lot. My main goal for the network is really to ensure that all young finance professionals have the ability to network, have access to it, and also have access to the tools they need to make positive contributions in their workplace early on. This will be done hopefully by gaining consensus around a table when we start having our meetings. And what I really want to focus on at first is to gain a solid understanding of what are the challenges faced by youth or young professionals in a variety of municipal settings, so small versus larger municipalities in different geographical areas. As we all know, our needs are not all the same. So once we establish that, I would really like to form a plan to address those challenges and provide targeted or specific professional development opportunities that that are affordable. Hopefully they will remain free, but we don't know that. So I just want to be able to make sure everyone has access to those. Those could be targeted training seminars or webinars. My other focus is also to focus on technical but also non-technical skills such as project management, how to run effective meetings. Because we are younger and we don't all have or necessarily have the opportunity to run meetings or to take leadership roles in all municipalities, I think it would be a good skill to develop. I'm in full support of the mentoring program, and I'm also hoping that eventually we can create outreach opportunities for YPN to interact with students at the post-secondary level, so that in time, with the experience we learn from our mentors and from our network, we can pass that on in some way, shape, or form to incoming students, so that they know a little bit more about the public sector and what they're getting into. The other thing I'd like to see is to use social networking to the best of our ability. Because we are from a diverse area, I think we will have to make use of that in some instances. I do believe that that face-to-face interactions are very important and necessary at times, but I think we need to tap into social media, virtual meetings, and make sure we reach as many people as we can. Overall, I just want to create an active network. I want it to eventually be recognized throughout the province. I'm not aware of such a network existing in this capacity anywhere else at the moment, so I think we have a great opportunity to dive into a brand new venture and forge the way for other municipalities, other organizations. Before I finish, I just wanted to thank the Interim Steering Committee for all the work they've done so far. I feel like you've provided us with a solid foundation, and I'm just looking forward to build on that. So now Wade would like to say a few words.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. I know it's been a long day and everyone has already had a lot of information passed on to them, but thank you for coming out and supporting this. I think it's a great initiative. I'm in full support of it in terms of providing a additional resource for young officers in municipalities across the province. I can't stress the amount of value that I think that will be gained from our current group of people on the steering committee, as well as young individuals across municipalities in Ontario. So I'm quite excited. Just hearing Julie speak got me a little bit excited, but I'm looking forward to it. First, I'd really like to thank the current steering committee. You guys have done a fantastic job so far, and I'm very happy that you've taken this initiative and got us this far, so thank you very much. I'd also like to thank Emily and Kim at MFOA, who have been working tirelessly, I'm sure. So thank you guys very much. And I'd just like to ask two things of the audience here going forward. One is just to share the information that we're trying to pass along and sharing the website, ypn-mfoa.ca. and passing it along to whether it's your peers or your staff, and just letting them know there is an additional resource out there, that there's not a necessarily formal commitment that has to be made. It can be as little as just going on the website and reading an article, or just being aware that the resource is there for young professionals. And secondly, I'd like the audience to take a second, realize that you guys are very valuable assets to municipalities across Ontario. And in the event that you are asked to provide support to a young person, to try to do what you can to make some time to, whether it's a quick email or a quick phone call, whatever it is, that to try and share the information that you currently have. I currently had one of my colleagues retire who's worked for 38 years in municipal finance. And it's just a mind-blowing amount of information that he had, and you don't really realize what a resource he is until he or she is gone. And has retired. So while you're still involved, do what you can to share your knowledge with the people around you, because I think we can do something great here. So thanks so much, and I look forward to the year ahead of us.
Just listening to all of you talk, there's such excitement and such a knowledge, and you guys are really articulate. So I think everyone, again, the interim committee has done a great job at preparing a foundation, and I think everyone's really looking forward to the new steering committee. So once again, on behalf of both the board and on all the MFOA participants, I'd like to give them a big hand. I think you've done an amazing job, everyone.